And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, well, damn it. Sometimes you just have to talk. And sometimes it's all that you can do. And right now, that's about all that we got. It's good to be back with you guys. I'm going to start off by reminding y'all that we're all volunteers, and there are some times where, since I'm the one that actually runs everything, it just kind of works out that way. And I'm sorry for not being here every opportunity, but right now I'm kind of even so 80-20. Work's been a little bit more difficult on me this week. Things have been way too busy. And I now have the nuclear unregulated day ball in my face in the afternoon, which does not help matters. So, we're here. It's good to be back. Thanks for being able to join us. Nominally, this would be the point in the show where I would warn you that this is a Power of 10 episode and that there is no filter. Well, yes, it is a Power of 10 episode, but at the same time, we're going to be cool about it. Because, considering the topic, and considering when it is, we don't want to scare anybody off, you know? So thanks for joining us. It's going to be a couple of minutes to get my feet back into place, so we'll see how it is. So, as usual, joining me this evening from the right-hand coast, North America, UnrenownedTech. You made it. Good evening.
Howdy, folks. I would argue that while we attempt not to scare anybody off, the F-bomb does tend to drop from our mouths regularly, especially on a Power of 10. But we could do so nicely, like, oh, dropping a hammer on your big toe, that fucking hurts. You know what I'm saying?
And there's the flag. I'd like to say thank you, except that... Nope, don't think I'm gonna.
My toe hurts. I actually dropped a hammer on my toe yesterday, so it really hurts. It effing hurts a lot.
And this is why you're supposed to be wearing seal toes when you're doing that kind of thing.
Yep. Wait, why would I have seals in my house? Those are at the zoo.
Chief.
Oh, steel toes.
Any opportunity that you can blow a seal is fine by me. Whatever you do on your weekends is your business. From the Midwest of the U.S., Brigid Fitch, who I'm surprised is not cackling at that joke right about now.
I'm trying to maintain decorum here. Hi, it's 26C and very, very humid. If it was going to rain, I wish it would just, like, rain and get it over with, but it's not raining.
Not yet. Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
I think, yeah.
And from the left-hand coast, where it is not currently raining ashes and cinders, last I checked, Io Cloud, thank you and good evening.
I'm here, and I'm thrilled and happy and all that. I got an email this week asking if I cursed the bad politician that was trying to get a supervisor position because he lost. He's not going to be in the runoff. And he lost good. See, on Tuesday, during election day for the primaries, I showed up at City Hall for the normal City Hall meeting and I played my song. One of the council members was actually leaning forward. What the hell are you doing? And the mayor actually looked at me and was like, you, ooh. And I was enjoying it. Today, the lady that should have been the mayor came up to me, gave me a hug, and said, thank you for that song. It's great. We love it. And they want me to do more political stuff for them. And they're going to connect me with some other groups that are specifically going after the mayor.
Fair enough. Good job, then. And
Oh, I'm
as
loving
usual,
it.
as usual, for those of you that would like to be joining us as we're doing this live, you can do that. And, well, over on YouTube, and you can be part of the chorus over here, of which Stephanie made it. Well done. I'm going to assume that that's a good thing. I mean, I'm sincerely hoping that your schedule is not completely foobarred. So, it's good to have you. We'll see what else ends up happening. Before I get too much further into it, has it been an eventful couple of weeks? Yeah. Are we going to end up talking about some of the stuff that's been going on? Eventually, in our own time and way, sure. I had expectations of what I wanted to talk about, but as time got in a little bit further, it was very much of the really getting dragged down by all this stuff. And it's the equivalent of doom scrolling, and really, that's not a way to do a show. So, are we going to cover some of that stuff? Probably eventually. But at the same time, don't hold your breath on any particular topic. We'll see where it takes us. And I just noticed that Lexa has popped up and commenting, "Oh, when is it not eventful?" Under democratic leadership of the country. I'd like to say that, except that there are tan fabrics that exist, but that's a whole other thing, isn't it? And item last, before we get done over here. As of, well, within the last 20 minutes or so, I unfortunately had to be battling with a 9-volt battery that apparently has gone flat. My smoke alarms started to go off. No warning. And we were able to identify which one it was. And by we, I mean my son and I. And by we, I also mean that he was the one that went up the ladder this time. Which I'm grateful for, because going up those ladders terrifies me. Because I can't just use an A-frame because it's not tall enough. I have a very tall ceiling. So whether or not he's actually listening at this point, I don't know. But I'm just grateful to him. So, thanks, kid. Seemed only fair that I get that out of the way. Meantime, how about we get things going over here while I'm having a hard time with my contact lenses and focusing for some reason. So we'll kind of work it from there. So with 5 minutes on the clock, your 5 minutes freestyle is going to start here. Magic. Last time out, it was about Trixie, the Great and Powerful. And believe it or not, the entire topic for this week was supposed to have been magic. Considering when we were finally getting around to this one, well, it seemed only appropriate that I kind of bump it down just a little bit. But just because it's bumped to this point in the show doesn't mean that it's, a lightweight item. In this universe, to the best of our knowledge, there is no such thing as, quote-unquote, magic. There are things that are magical, and I don't even mean that in the standpoint of, subjective awe as relates to watching something happen. The fact that life exists at all in this universe, to a certain degree, that is kind of magical, but at the same time, it's simply a statistical yes. Considering some of the stuff that we found out there in the nearby solar system, and by nearby, I mean, come on, man, we've got space probes how far out? Oh, and they can only see just a little bit of the space around them. Oh, well, okay. Which, by the way, Voyager, doing a damn good job still. Well done. Some of the stuff that we've captured and brought back for analyzing shows some of the building blocks of life as we know it. the chemical combinations that would end up making RNA, the precursor to, well, us. And for anybody that's wondering, well, what's that good for knowing? Well, the statistics say if something is common, it can be found commonly. Our star is a relatively common size, shape, and it's a relatively common age for itself. And the fact that we have found what appear to be relatively common building blocks of life just in space where there's no water, there's no atmosphere, it just is. Well, that's a pretty good indication that maybe life as we know it may be more common than we think. And by more common than we think, maybe somewhere nearby, relatively so. Obviously, we have to kind of wait and see, but that's a kind of cool thing. Now, in order for some of that to have happened, there are magical pieces out there. Our planet itself gave us one of the most amazing things to me. Something that is absolutely magical. Magnetism. Having a magnetic field around this planet, this incredibly simple, or some would say, electromagnetic globe. Well, that's just a safety net for us, fortunately. But have you really stopped to think how complex electromagnetism really is? The thing that makes all of these thinking rocks operate. It's astounding. It is a kind of magic. And because of that, we have a planet that is protected from electromagnetic storms. We are able to communicate long distances because of it. We can hear the rest of the universe through its envelope. That to me is kind of magical. And it's not just from an objective feel. It's from a gut feeling. The idea that maybe, just maybe, we can actually learn by listening to something that we humans can't listen to. Radio waves? That's pretty cool. Plus, remember, we humans can't hear radio waves. We had to develop machinery to create a sense that we don't have. That is a kind of magic to me. Who'd have ever thought that we'd come up with something that we have no way of identifying ourselves? It's pretty cool. So 'tis time to actually get started with everything, so let's do this. Horrible Scopes time. It's been a little bit. And of course, if you miss them, I do have them posted online in various locations, including into our Discord, over there on Facebook, BlueSky, there's plenty of locations. So if you've found a time where you wanted to revert back to them, you've always got that available to you. So, as always, if you know what your astrological sign is, cool. If you don't, you can roll yourself a D12 like I've got over here. I refuse to roll this one anymore because it's gotten a couple of times very close to the edge of my tabletop, and I don't believe that it is not suicidal. So I'm not going to tempt the fates that way. Now, by the time you get the chance to read these horrible scopes online, folks in Second Life, of which I am proudly one of them, will be getting last-minute preparations for Second Life's 23rd birthday event Now, being that you're Friday night DJs at Feline Conspiracy, of which I am one of them, that's your cue. IO. That's your cue to say
You're
hi.
muted.
I was in Second Life having some fun. What do you need me to say?
That you are one of these people as well.
Oh, yes. Did you get the graphic I sent?
You're not paying attention at all, are you?
No, I haven't been paying attention. I was listening to Dalan.
I'll
So-
just say one of us, and then mute your mic again.
One of us. Yes, I'm one of the DJs that's doing Second Life's birthday. I'm also part of stage crew, and I'm a greeter, and I'm an exhibitor. I'm going to be busy for the next couple of weeks. Leave me alone.
So, yeah, since Dalan, IO, and myself are the people that premiere these scopes every Friday night, we're going to be performing. So how about we give you all insights as to what Second Life is all about? So for those of you that have never dabbled in it before, get ready for some weirdness that won't need you investing a small fortune in body tracking VR chat gear. I promise. Aries, as was mentioned, Second Life doesn't require any special hardware to experience it. Most PC computers and modern Macs shouldn't have any real trouble running it. Do you need a beefy system with lots of video RAM? Well, I mean, no, but I mean, it gets more visually fun the stronger your machine gets. So this week, we know you're still hoarding a 10-year-old laptop with Linux and Wi-Fi in it. There is nothing wrong with trying it out and seeing what happens. Officially, once upon a time ago, that kind of thing was not supported. These days, their attitude is, give it a shot. Worst case, the GPU melts, but you were kind of expecting that to have happen anyway, weren't you?
Not the best market to have a GPU melt, though.
No. Taurus, we just told you all how you can run it, but not what it does. Silly us, right? So picture this. Second Life is what happens if you use internet relay chat while dropping acid. IRC is just a bunch of people texting each other at the same time, but Second Life adds a full 3D world to experience with all your chatting people, and all with personally crafted avatars. You can put as much or as little effort into your appearance as you like. So this week, yes, you can pay someone to build an avatar for yourself. And no, it doesn't have to look at all like your real self. It might be better if it doesn't. You've got some discretionary capital. Commission someone to build your avatar and spread that wealth around.
Gemini.
Oh,
No,
sorry,
I'm
go
doing
ahead.
Gemini. I'm doing it.
Okay, you go ahead.
Gemini, the
Fine.
next question. The next question is, where do you go once you're in Second Life? And we've got some advice on that. Since the entire SL experience is created by the inhabitants, there is no lack of strange, unusual, or nostalgic places to visit. A Federation starship bridge, Atlantis, maybe even your own hometown of if somebody's already built it, like Vancouver, Toronto, London, New York, Tokyo. So this week, one of the problems with this stuff is it can eventually cease to be. There was once a one-to-one recreation of the the World War II Japanese battleship Yamato. It was so detailed that even the main turrets had rifling in them. It was that detail. I actually remember being there and being on that sim and looking around. They even have Titanic. Sadly, it's gone now. So you can find somewhere special, take lots of pictures to remember it by.
Was there a reason why it went bye-bye? Just curious.
People couldn't pay for it anymore or something. I'm dealing with 3 Sims that might go bye-bye because of the estate and whatnot, and whether I keep a Patreon or Patron.
Ah, okay.
So long as that patron still keeps on paying, my husband's Sims will keep alive. But if they decide that they can't pay it anymore, then at this moment right now, I have to say goodbye. I don't have the money to keep them going.
You can always use Minecraft as a backup.
I don't want to ever be on Minecraft again. I have my reasons.
Cancer
No, it's not funny. It's not funny.
Cancer Moonchild. It's not just the locations that are created by denizens of Second Life, but the clothing too. It's not terribly difficult to create your own look by uploading images to fit on your avatar, but the quality of even the free stuff is amazing. Let's not get into the paid for stuff too, because wow. Bill Theus would have a stroke if he could have seen those costumes. I know I might have mispronounced his last name wrong. So this week, what do you mean you don't know who Bill was? He's credited with the... Okay, is it Thieves or it's Thieves? Okay, Thieves. Thieves titillation theory, which says the sexiness of an outfit is directionally proportional to the perceived possibility that a vital piece of it might fall off. If you want to know how accurate he was, go rewatch the costumes on the original Star Trek series. Then come back and look at what outfits are available to get for yourself. That's right. Wear something daring for a change. Just not the red shirt. We all know what happens to the red shirt.
Leo, we didn't really talk about all the avatars that are available yet, and how appropriate for you, Leo, as there are lots of non-humanoid versions out there. Lions and warthogs and dragons and equids and felines, and believe it or not, there is at least one tribble, too. So this week, if you want to really get away from everything and everyone, look completely different and be unrecognizable, you will have all kinds of options available. But in your real life, maybe just plan a vacation week. Even a long weekend could help your mood.
Virgo, you might want to take notice of this part because it will help determine if you'll be meeting others during these days and nights. Second Life has agreed upon clock called SL time. Imagine that. It's based on Pacific North American time, reflecting the home location for the company that operates SL. Chances are you'll go outside that time zone, so expect you'll need to plan ahead for any gatherings. So this week, oh, quit your bitching. This isn't any worse than scheduling a client phone call or a video conference if they're across the continent from you. Learn to shift your sleeping times or just use sleep aids, like booze, to help you get to sleep at 6 a.m. local time on the weekend.
Now, the one piece that I did not add to that was a reference to Swatch time. Some of us are old enough to remember when Swatch time was supposed to have been the new thing.
Watch.
Swatch.
Gotta get the Swatch watch.
I loved those things.
Don't worry, we'll fill you in later.
It's Beat Time was the other name.
Again, what? So it's
Later.
Libra? Libra? Is it Libra or is it Virgo? I'm lost, okay? I got distracted. I'm going to be really distracted until after SLB is over. I've got a builder in one ear and another builder in the other ear. It is Libra. For a while, SL was partnered with a number of big-name companies to arrange conferences exactly that way. My husband actually had one of those avatars. He had, because you actually ended up with the name of the company as part of your resident name. Various events had been set up for things like virtual training, virtual classrooms, and even virtual conventions, all in 3D and with capacities for dozens to hundreds of simultaneous avatars simultaneously. That's a lot of simultaneous. So this week, one of the best examples of this was National Public Radio, yes, NPR, having a presence during various live programs, even taking questions and comments from the Second Life avatars in attendance. Maybe what you need to do is speak up more, but not too much. Just so you know, don't be that girl and be bitchy. At least not like everyone thinks you are normally.
Nobody thinks that about me. Scorpio, being that Second Life has a worldwide user base, communication can be a little tough if you visit areas that don't share your language. There's no official language, though English tends to rank highly. Nothing stops you from acquiring an automated translator bot to help things along, though it might get more and more pricey if some groups start changing the access to those services. So this week, we told you before, knowing several languages can help you enormously. Try picking up whatever languages you studied before. You might find it easier to get back into than you might find it easier to get back to than you're afraid it won't be. Okay, sure. You might find it easier to get back into, and you might just be overthinking it.
Little meta humor
I
in
swear
there.
we need to get a freaking editor for this script.
Sagittarius.
Yeah, you think?
Now, some people have chimed in at this point asking, so is this just a reskinned Minecraft? First off, that is just unfair. Second, no. The groups and experiences and niche interests all across this wild wonderland are a delight to behold because they're serious about what they're passionate about. Try to picture this. A whole area where the world of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is recreated in amazing detail. So much so that even the accepted avatars are themselves pastel-covered quadrupeds walking and trotting and flying around, most of which were all unique characters and not copies of the ones actually from the show. So this week, not only does this actually exist, there are several incarnations of it as well. And if you want to check them out, the avatar base is called Free Open Source. Yeah, it's free. You can get it. It's free. You can do anything that you want with it. It's called the Open Pony. And you can make it anything you want it to be. So get out there and try some free open software for a change.
Capricorn. Speaking of the software, you have to remember that Second Life is an online service. The parent company, Linden Labs, does have an official viewer program, but there are a few others out there, each offering nearly all the same features, but sometimes better performance or special tools. One of the most popular, Phoenix Firestorm, is formulated to work under MS Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So long as you're fairly up-to-date hardware-wise, if you're a little lacking in digital oomph, there are still lighter weight versions that might work better for you. So this week, again, don't think you're in bad shape using an older computer system here. Computer parts are stupid expensive these days, but you won't need to max anything out. Just enjoy what you have. It'll be good enough.
Aquarius. Fine, fine. Let's deal with proverbial elephant in the metaverse. Yes, there are areas of copulation and copulation-related accessories. You have no idea. And if that makes some people feel this makes SL bad in its entirety, they simply had no idea how wrong they are. Especially when Patch Linden mentioned that we have legs in Second Life. Some people intentionally want to have wholesome experiences and stay in that area drinking their chocolate milk. Others want to have more adult and mature experiences. Hang out in the music venues, drinking wine or beer, and some last others, well, yeah. So this week, look, we're not going to harsh your yum, but please remember the old adage. On the internet, nobody knows you're a dog. Not everyone on the Second Life is quite what they appear to be. For instance, we're pretty sure that the 2-meter tall avatar of Princess Luna of Equestria isn't really operating from Equestria. The leg alone would be killer. Plus, how can you operate a mouse with hooves? And as I said before, if you can dream about it, it probably exists on Second Life. And if it doesn't, there's a builder waiting to make it for you.
You know, that whole operating a mouse with hooves things, you do know that they make accessibility devices so people can operate a mouse with their feet. I mean, with their shoes on kind of level of feet. So hooves wouldn't be too hard, I think. Yeah, just me. Yeah, good. Pisces. And finally, we get to end on a high note about Second Life's longevity. Excuse me. That was an unexpected frog in my throat. Second Life's longevity. 23 years so far and still going. There's no way to know how many consistent users there are or how many avatars are logged in at any time, but there will always be something worth checking out. There's always some new avatar or outfits or roller coaster or car racing group to talk to. Honestly, you'll have a good time, even if it's just to listen to some online DJs. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So this week, search the hashtag SL23B for those who are more military oriented. That is Sierra Lima 23 Bravo. And see what everyone's saying about these events. And then go looking for DJs Cynic, Frostbite, and Mooncheeks. And you might just hear your Horrible Scope presenters live. By the way, just to, I don't think we addressed it in the Horrible Scopes. For those who are not familiar with Second Life, it is not for sauna only. You can have human avatars, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can have anything you want.
So see, something for everybody.
The Sims that DJ Cynic and Frostbite will be on are going to be the general Sims. So, if nothing crazy. The Sim that Mooncheeks is going to be on, that DJ is going to have some fun.
Okay, and for the uninitiated, please ELI5, what you mean when you reference Sims.
Oh, that's Shujin's problem.
Those are your Horrible Scopes for this week. Remember, if you like what you got, cool. Tip me for being nice to you. Or tip me so that I can be nicer to you. You can hit me over on the coffee page. It's coffee.com/Icarus the Lunar Guard. I'll have these over on various postings as usual. Tumblr, Facebook, Coffee, Discord, BlueSky. That's the way it works. Sims in this case, in Second Life, are areas 256. Is 120 or 256 meters on a side? Anyway, the regions.
Okay, so it's basically just, it's Second Life's laid out in a grid of a certain size, and each square is called a sim.
Correct. And each one is governed over by a processor, I think, over at the home labs. And you can build whatever it is that you'd like inside of it within certain reasons, like whoever is renting the sim from the labs is considered the owner, and they can dictate what it is that they want. For instance, the aforementioned Yamato crossed 3 sims in order to fit as a one-to-one recreation. I do have a couple of pictures of it, and wow, it was amazing to look at.
I think Titanic was at least 2, possibly 3. But it's been a long time since I saw it.
You know what this means, right?
What?
We gotta go looking for it.
This means that somewhere in Second Life, somebody had to create a Minecraft sim inside of Second Life, complete with the blocks and everything, just to be that guy or that girl, that person. They had to have done it. It's got to be in there somewhere, because somebody has had to be like, hey, I can do this. Just because they can. It might not be in existence right now. It might have been sometime in the past. But somebody's done that.
Minecraft table, Minecraft chess, nether tracks, Minecraft creeper mug, Minecraft UFO, Minecraft pumpkin, Minecraft cat. Ooh, I want that cat. Minecraft fox
So-
fight, Minecraft cow,
So-
Minecraft cake, Minecraft skulker.
So there's stuff,
Minecraft-
is what you're saying. You can stop right there.
They did what? Oh my goodness, they did that with Rule 64.
I find that incredibly hilarious.
Or is it 34?
It's like, we're going to go into this other game and recreate, this other environment and recreate the previous environment that's in it. That to me always gives me a giggle.
Yeah, they definitely, yeah. There's 18 pages.
Is episode
And-
570 on the docket. Your Honor, Pride cometh. Now, before anybody goes ahead and goes, well, no, wait a minute, sir, that's only a section of the quote, and it's not even the correct quote. I know. I'm calling it this way because, well, it is the beginning of Pride Month here. And I think it's probably a good idea to have a little bit of fun and to remind folks that as far as we are concerned, here at HCTV, you're family. And we do not take that responsibility lightly, because some of us have lived through enough history to know how bad it has been, even if we don't necessarily know it firsthand. So let's start off with the easy stuff. There's Pride events going to be going on all over the country, and several countries, I'm sure. My son is going to be part of the Buffalo Pride Parade, which is going to be coming up tomorrow. I am going to be dropping him off, and I am going to be going home because I have been a little strained and stressed and borderline not drinking enough, and a little sore in the back and having a hard time staying asleep. So I will not be participating directly, but I've been with him because he's been part of that parade for several years now, including up through high school, because it was because of him, as being one of the first really open people in his high school, that got the chance for the school to be represented in the Pride Parade in Buffalo, which I think is pretty cool. Tech, you got anything that's going around in your neck of the woods? I have to assume that things get a little dicey depending as to which direction you start looking at.
Usually that sort of thing doesn't happen down my neck of the woods, just because of how the infrastructure of the roads and everything are laid out around here. Like, it is not bicycle friendly, it's not walking friendly. The way people drive, I would not want to hold a parade. The road congestion, it's not laid out in a way that a parade would be, where the locals would be happy to have one, regardless of what the topic of the parade was, whether it was Christmas, Hanukkah, Halloween, Pride, military. Even when they do military celebrations near the base, they tend to do it on the base or in the surrounding area that is kind of open landish or rentable, so that but even then, the police have to come out and force to regulate traffic, and we're not talking about anything on the major roads. So for most events, unless it's like a concert coming to a very specific area, and with all the police taking care of all the traffic, everything else is held outside my area, more towards, you go from where I am and you start driving towards DC, and you start getting towards more open areas, and then eventually the DC metro area. And so if somebody wanted to attend a Pride Parade and they were from this area, they would most likely head to DC. Now, what does tend to happen during events is you will see people who, they might go to Staples or some kind of supply store and get some poster board and such, and they'll make signs, and they'll stand on the corners of intersections away from the road, because people have been known to. You can look at the curbs and see the tire marks. People do not pay attention when they're driving down near me. This is a major problem, and it doesn't matter what news radio station you listen to down here, whether it's conservative, progressive, or whatever. They all say the same thing. The drivers in my area are just too busy staring at their cell phones, including the police. It is a major problem. So people don't get close to the curbs, but they'll go to the relatively safe areas and hold up signs that you can see. And they'll wave. They don't flip you the bird. They don't yell and scream at you. It's relatively peaceful. Even when during protests that we had, like No Kings and all that, we had people in areas where it was safe for them to stand, holding up signs, and everybody was being very peaceful about it. And there was no yelling, no screaming, no honking your horns, no nothing. You read the sign as you drove by, hopefully one or two and then put your eyes back on the road, but dear God, look where you're going, people. So no, there's not a lot of stuff like that down here, just because it's just not safe in terms of, it's not because one group hates another not safe. It's not safe because the drivers are just not paying attention. It's not safe because we don't have the proper road layouts for it. So it's just the way it is.
Fair enough. How about you, Brigid? Anything going around for your Nick?
Well, we had our Pride Festival today, actually, and tomorrow we have a Pride and Glory wrestling event. This is the first time we've ever had one of those, and I have no idea what to think of that.
Okay.
That's what I said. I was like, alrighty.
Okay,
that's a new one for here, and it's the first time I've ever heard of one of those, ever.
We're
a little special down here.
I don't know what to do with that one now.
I don't want to leave everybody with a bad image of my area, because there are some things, now that I think about it. There's a lot of places like the pubs and stores and such that put up signs, in celebration. Like, I know one of my local restaurants that's half bar and microbrewery and restaurant is doing a whole weekend of Pride. Multicolored food, things like that, flags up, all that. Come on, and it says, "Come on in and show your pride." Wear the rainbow, fly your flag, have a good time. So, I mean, my area isn't like agnostic to this stuff. Sorry if I made it seem like that initially.
No.
Well, it'd be cool if we had a parade like Brigid.
And how about you, Io? What's going on?
I'm sun-singed from Pride today. At about 2:00 was when Pride started, the actual party. I think there was a Pride parade before that. I'm not sure. I wasn't looking at their schedule of events, but I went down and I had a wonderful time. And like I said, I met up with one of the counselors for the city, and she thanked me for the song that I wrote for the mayor, because the mayor deserved it in the most fun way possible. Gee, Mr. Mayor, if you had said 12 words back in November, I would probably be ignoring you right now. Anyway, I had lots of fun, got sun-singed, listened to lots of music. There was drag, there was furries. I actually have a picture of me with a couple furries. Full outfits, if I remember correctly. And I saw another one with a tail walking around. And yes, I did hand them my DJ card. the one that has the Friday Night Gang. And I had fun. I came home with loot. They were handing out female condoms this year. Female condoms. Non-latex condoms for women. You have no idea how happy I am. I came home with a small handful. Not that I'm planning on using them anytime soon, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry. And what else was there? There was what is her store name?
I'd imagine for a Pride Parade, dental dams would be more prolific.
Oh yeah, there was dental dams too, and I think I got one. Oh yeah, the Chronically Illest had renamed her store to the Chronically Gayest, and she had stickers, and I picked up stickers about my last fuck, my pancreas being dead. These are gravestones. A Resist Fascism sticker, a rainbow patch that's heart-shaped. One of my other stickers from her is one that says, "My kink is equal rights." And I got a sticker from the Trevor Project, donated a bit of money. I got other stuff. I've got this necklace, and I'm kind of wondering what design is it, because if it's a cross, I'm never going to wear it. But if it's something else, I probably will wear it. Planned Parenthood was there, and they gave out stickers. And one of the stickers is, "No one is illegal in this clinic." Another one says, "Let me be perfectly queer. Primary care for everyone." That was a different clinic. Reproductive justice is intersectional. These are vinyl stickers I can stick on my car. Immigrants give this country flavor. I got myself an
So
L.
does pineapple juice.
I got myself an L button. You know, instead of she, her, I got myself an L one, which is the French, or I believe Spanish for women pronouns. Other buttons, and I bought a couple of things more for comfort than anything else. And I'm going to be talking to one of the makers because they said, "Yes, we can put your DJ logo on one of our cups." I said, "Cool." So,
very cool.
Sometime in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be sitting here drinking from my cup. From my cup. It will be my cup. It's my cup. Yes, it is. It's my cup. But
Nice.
it was fun. It was lots of stuff. And I left home because I wanted to talk to Dalan and be ready for the show, be rested up for the show. I didn't want to, if I had stayed as long as I wanted to, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably still be partying because I can hear the music. It's where they have this is actually right outside of the Museum of Music in the area, and right outside a historical theater. And that's all I'm going to say, because there's lots of historical theaters around here, and it's a whole lot of fun. And I was actually introduced to a bunch of people. Yeah, she did that song. She did that song. She did that sign. About the mayor. So I might get some work doing that as well, doing political activism and whatnot. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. I want to do it again. If I knew when LA itself had their Pride Parade, I'd be there. I haven't been in a Pride Parade in ages, and last time I was the brake woman for a dominatrix that was being pulled by 6 guys. She was on a chariot. It was hilarious. It was fun. I got home in time, and my mother was watching the Pride Parade, and my face was right across the camera as I was waving. My mother looked at the Pride Parade. Like she was watching the TV. She looked at me, looked at the TV, looked at me, Didn't say a word.
So I've got a hot take that out of context is going to make people very upset with me. So wait for the context.
Uh-oh.
I hate that there is a pride parade. I hate that there is pride celebrations because there shouldn't have to be. There shouldn't have to be. The reason why pride is a thing is because people couldn't just simply accept that there are people who are different from themselves, different from the quote-unquote average. I'm not going to say normal. So they decided, hey, I got an idea. How about these people that we're afraid of, although we will never say that, how about we just go ahead and force them to go away somehow or other? And thank you, because that's what got everything rolling. Am I proud to be part of a pride event? Absolutely. Would I ever say it shouldn't be there? No. I'm saying that the reason why it started in the first place was stupid. Not on their part. On our part. Those of us who otherwise aren't directly part of the pride reason. Because they had to send the police in there. They had to start roughing people up. And what bullshit. So, I know that at this point, the vast majority of anybody that might have been instrumental in causing those first riots very likely wouldn't be around anymore. But I don't care. I hope they all ceased to be with guilt on their conscience for causing it in the first place. What idiocy.
I kind of agree. We shouldn't have to have pride. We should just be allowed to be. But I'm glad that we do have pride because...
Absolutely.
Because I've been discovering some stuff about myself, and one thing I am is sapiosexual. Although not really sexual. I'm not sure what to call it, because I get interested in people that actually have minds that I like to play with, if that makes sense to you. Anyway, one of the things that I got was the whistle code. I got a pamphlet that has the whistle code for ICE. If you see ICE happening, use this code to get other people involved in order to make sure that ICE doesn't grab people and that there's enough witnesses to stop them. It's a whistle code. And I was given 2 whistles, and I was even given bubbles. So I have bubbles to blow. And I got given a pamphlet on chest binding, other pamphlets on stuff about trans, about sexual health, about this, about that. And I was even given an emergency kit so that if I have to run, I have a toothpaste, toothbrush, cleaning supplies, and a chapstick. This is what they're handing out to people because stupid will make people run. Threats will make people... So I've got this neat little package that is for if I have to run. And it's cool. I love it. I love all the stuff I was given. Especially the female condoms. Non-latex condoms. Yes!
So yeah, like I said, I'm very happy to be participating with pride. I am happy with who I am. I do not feel threatened that there are people out there who are not like me. And I do sincerely hope that there are people out there who are not like me who simultaneously do not feel threatened by me. And am I in any way disappointed or ashamed of my son? Of course not. Or any of the people that he associates with. I mean, for those of you that don't already know about it, in the furry circles, of which I am happily part of, we've had Dr. Nuka on before to talk about how overly represented the LGBTQIA plus community is represented in the furry circles. So if anybody is thinking that, I'm trying to say that I don't like Pride, I don't like that Pride had to be started as response to people being absolute goons. And by goons, I mean the old Batman goons. The evil people. The ones that will go ahead and start a fight just because you're different. I want there to be people who are just happy to be around. That you have someone that you're in love with? Cool. Legal ages? Consensual? Nobody being harmed? Okay, cool. Learn what the Harkness Test is and, go from there.
Harkness Test?
The Harkness Test.
Okay, you're going to have to link that in the show notes.
The Harkness Test comes from Doctor Who, and a great piece of writing on this one, courtesy of Captain Jack Harkness. And it basically comes down to you have to meet a couple of requirements. Both participants, or minimally both, or however many, have to be sapient. I know it's a little bit of a big word. They have to be aware and able to give informed consent. They need to have sentience and be able to communicate so that they can properly give understandable consent. And they have to be mature in their species. And, you have to have at least 2 of those, minimally. So, can we link to that? I'm sure that we can find that somewhere because, Doctor Who. If there is one thing that I love about science fiction, and you guys can go ahead and have a little bit of fun with this one, and I've said it before, good science fiction is basically just holding up a sideshow mirror to what society is now, with all the little weirdy bends and folds and changes of it around. Yeah, you're examining what's going on now, but maybe in a way that's clouded enough that you don't realize that you're actually thinking about what's going on for yourself. I like that part. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. Let This Be Your Last Battlefield in the original Star Trek series was absolutely blatant. That was the one that had the visiting characters that were white on one side of their body and black on the other. But one was right hand white, the other one was left hand white, and there were obvious problems with those because they wouldn't see eye to eye. That one was obviously superior to the other because, well, one side is white and one side is black. How do you not recognize the absolute genetic drift that is the other one? And Brigid, I don't know if you remember this one, but considering you're a little bit closer to the area that it would have been than the rest of us, memory serves, aren't there a whole bunch of Native American groups that would have had, I'm going to use the expression, and I don't think that it quite translates for the Native Americans for effectively transgendered individuals. Am I thinking about the right thing?
You're mentioning the Two-Spirit people?
Maybe. I've got a vague recollection, but I don't remember any of the specifics.
The Two-Spirit is people that are both male and female.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was actually reading a book on this at one point. Let's see if I can remember anything from that book. It was done by a First Nations author. There's like 5 genders minimally within the First Nations community. Male, not male, neutral, not female, and female. And the not male and the not female are actually the other gender, biologically. And there wasn't really a thing about gay being bad. So you could, if you were a man, you could have a gay partner. Because unlike women, a gay partner didn't have the restrictions that pregnancy and menstruation brought on. They were always continuously providing for the family. I believe they were called the Bardachis. You're asking me to remember stuff from a book I read 20 years ago.
You were the one who volunteered this. Hey, nobody squeezing your arm on that one.
I know. I was reading the book, and at one point I stopped and said, I'm one of these guys. Yeah, sapiosexual, definitely. I want to say biromantic, but right now I'm just quite ace when it comes to sexuality or sexuality, because I lost somebody very, very important, and I need to heal before I even think about horizontal mumble jumbo. So of course I'm writing smut.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm writing space alien smut. Stop the world, I want to get off. Beam me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life down here. Beam me up, O'Brien.
So the piece to kind of take away from all this is that, like I said earlier, there is. I'm not going to say we're a safe place, because that's all well and good to go ahead and say, especially if it's not something that we can, actually invite people into and physically be with us so that they can, see it for themselves. But, it's nice to be able to let people know that if they want to investigate us, there's very little for us to hide. Our feelings about people, we've said them on so many occasions. It's just nobody really needs to worry about it. None of us needs to worry about anybody listening to what we have to say and going, well, I'm not safe around them. Because to us, or at least to me, I can't exactly speak for everybody individually, but for me, it literally has always been somebody loves somebody, cool. And that's literally the entirety of it. Reminding you, I grew up through the 70s and the 80s when there were all kinds of things that were said that were very mean-spirited. And, even as a kid, teenager, growing up through it was like, okay, somebody likes somebody else who is of their same, well, at the time, sex, because at the time we didn't understand the gender and sex being separate pieces, because we didn't know at the time. We weren't educated enough societally, at least my circles, we were not. And it was always just, you like who you like, and, well, okay, what's the problem? So, yeah, that's the question that I'm putting out there on the floor right now. What is the problem? What is the justification for these people that are just very incredibly anti-pride, for lack of a better way of putting it?
They're bigots.
I mean, you could just, slide up to that, you don't have to ramp it all the way to 11 before you can get started.
Okay, show's over. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, it's been nice knowing you. Have yourselves a great night, guys.
Questions been answered.
Da, 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 da.
All right, I'll put up the closing card. That's great. Turn off the microphones. We're great. All right. The sad part of it is, as the kids say these days, where's the lie?
There isn't one. Haters are going to hate. And they hate really, really hard. And the haters want to squash anybody that does not think like them out of existence. That's why you have some of these states now, like mine and Arkansas, who are celebrating Nuclear Family Month this month. Yes.
Oh yeah, that was me groaning about that idea, because nuclear family isn't necessarily a good thing.
They don't care.
I know.
This is what they're celebrating. I don't know if there were any other states. I heard about Arkansas first, and then heard that Indiana was also doing this. And there are probably others. I'll have to Google it. But yeah, so this is happening this month. Yay.
Great. That's a new one by me. I did not know about that.
Well,
you know what
of
else
course.
is happening this month?
Hmm?
So one of my favorite comedians is Steve Hofstetter. And I think
Yes,
I've mentioned
wonderful
him before.
personality that he is.
So one of the things he's doing is because there's so many complaints about it being Pride Month, he's doing straight Pride Month, straight white Pride, Republican Pride Month. And so he's one a day talking about a registered Republican. So he's brought up Justin Eckern, Minnesota State Senator, who politicized to have the term Trump derangement syndrome, also known as Bill SF 2589, to be a statewide recognized mental illness. He was arrested during a child prostitution sting. And upon release from that, he was promptly rearrested because they subpoenaed his laptop and he refused to turn it in, so he went back to jail. Ryan McDonough, a doctor in Alaska who was appointed to help specifically to ban trans healthcare. He was arrested for possession of child sex material. He had it in his Dropbox. Dropbox reported it to National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and apparently the material included not just children, but infants. Now, the sad part of all this is not just the fact that he had this kind of material, but his home was lost in a fire that presumably he may have set himself. It's uncertain. and they thought he died in that fire. The rest of his family did survive, thank goodness. But after autopsy, they found that the fire was not what performed the hard reset. It was a self-inflicted pew-pew. And I'm not clapping or dancing that that's happened to him, regardless of what he did. But you're starting to see a theme here. Brian Morris, New Hampshire State Representative, House of Representatives, arrested and charged with felony count of non-consensual dissemination of sexual images. Basically, he posted revenge porn of the woman that he cheated with on his wife. And if he gets convicted, he can face up to 7 years if he gets convicted. He was removed by the House Education Committee by legislative leadership, so he's kind of lost his position, so to speak. There's a pastor, Tim Martinez, or Rubel Tim Martinez, sentenced to an indeterminate term of imprisonment of at least 18 years up to a maximum of life, as well as a court-imposed indeterminate period of parole of at least 20 years up to life, should he actually be paroled. The interesting part of this is that it took the jury less than 3 hours to convict him. What happened is when he was employed as a campus security supervisor at a high school, which he did there from, well, it was more than a decade. It was a long period of time. Apparently, he repeatedly committed sexual contact, unwanted sexual contact against the same victim over a period of 2 years. It occurred during and after school hours, both on and off grounds. So yeah, real dirtbag. David Kellett, I looked this one up because there's actually more than just 9 degrees. He ran twice for the Wyoming House of Representatives on the on a Republican ticket, and is a registered Republican. He's charged with a lot of counts of nastiness against a minor. I really looked him up. I felt dirty after I read his history. If he's found guilty of everything, he can face up to a maximum of 215 years in prison. Now, this, you know how they say there can always be a positive side to a coin? There actually is one in this guy's case. He helped push in 2010 for Wyoming to pass the Healthcare Freedom Act, which was designed in an attempt to resist the Obamacare mandates. But instead, that same act was used to ensure women in the state of Wyoming have access to abortion. Yeah, they inadvertently pulled a Uno reverse on themselves on that one. A couple others I happened to just find on my own were Aaron von Ehlinger, Idaho House of Representatives, Republican, did bad things to a teenage intern, legislative intern, and received 20 years for it. He's still in jail.
That's
Rick Rober.
That's
and I've got more. It just
you're gonna sit on those because that's as far as I want to push it.
Yes. No, I just it's amazing that the same people who say pride is a terrible thing, trans is a terrible thing, are the same people who are getting locked up for doing terrible things to children. You know, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Stephanie in the chat is saying all this nonsense about sexuality was introduced by Christians in the 4th century. Prior to that, you were what you were and nobody was concerned by it. This was also when the Roman Catholics introduced the concept of unmarried priests and celibacy being a virtue. The nuclear family is a very modern concept. It is also completely impractical. It takes a village to raise a child. Its parents need support. And she also says MAGA is actual Trump derangement syndrome in action. I fully agree with that last statement.
Now, the thing that kills me about the idea of nuclear families is because it harkens back to, well, I'm guessing the 40s and the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And geez, what a time. Let's see, if I remember right, the upper tax bracket during the 30s was about 95%. Yeah, something like that. I mean, there was a point where 95% of money over a certain amount was taxed at a 95%, and if we're gonna start going back, that far, I think maybe that's a good starting off point. So, how about we bring back those tax codes, and we'll see how the rest of everything else plays out, and maybe we'll start finding ways of making those nuclear families happen again, so that only one person needs to be working, and not even working like a dog, and maybe people being able to thrive and take vacations and buy houses and get good education for their kids and health care for themselves and their kids and have amenities and have fun and not have to worry about needing to go off to needless wars or have conflicts with their fellow man living next door who could be literally of any description. Yeah, let's start off with the tax codes and then kind of work it from there. What say you?
Here. Motion seconded.
Maybe we can get NASA a penny on the dollar instead of half a penny for a change. That'd be nice too.
NASA should actually have its budget come from the U.S. military. Just think of all of the money that they would have access to if they could pool themselves into that fund. Wait, that's actually not a good idea because that means that they'd be part of the military.
Yeah, there'd be that.
I'm suddenly scared.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
The idea of NASA being able to, do actual, unbiased research, launching its own goddamned rockets again. I know. It was stuff contracted out to groups like Grumman, and I know. But it was contracted for NASA as opposed to just letting somebody else use their facilities. There is a difference. Full disclosure, I grew up on Long Island where a big Grumman plant was that helped make some of the stuff for the original Apollo series. And my mom knows someone that actually was working with them at the time too. So I have a soft spot in my heart for Grumman, Fairchild, Republic, Northrop, whatever name it is that they've swallowed up next. But that's a whole other thing. Backtracking. Yeah, they are bigots. And what more needs to be said? Not a hell of a lot. And it's not just me, right? The United States, for basically the last 100 years, has been so incredibly sexually regressive, it's positively ludicrous, isn't it?
That's because of the Puritans.
Well, I'm not 100% on board on that one. Because remember, 100 years ago, you had some stuff that was, perfect example, burlesque. Burlesque was more than just the titillation of the strippers and the fan dancers. Burlesque was more than just that, but the fan dancers and the topless women in art was not it was not a completely foreign ideal, especially in Europe. I mean, they're pictures, there are sculptures, there are, well, by pictures, I don't just mean like we would think of it as photographs, although there are. And it was for art. And it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a big deal. It was just part. With the advent of photography, yes, there were puritanical, what's the word I'm looking for? No, puerile? I think I have the right one. Puerile? Whatever. There was sexy stuff. Admittedly. But, it was also just art. The human body was just another form of art. If you did it right. And now, people are trying to cover up sculptures of David. Because. And I don't get that. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of trying to find my way to getting to the question that's running through my head, and I'm trying to figure out how to get to wording it correctly. How about I do it this way? Collectively, what the hell is wrong with us? As a country? What the hell? Why is sex such a taboo the way that it is?
Partially because we were founded by Puritans?
Okay, okay.
Yep. I agree.
Canada too, but the Puritans said, wait, this is too cold.
I don't know what their problem was. I mean, they got to eat beaver on it every Friday, so, I mean, whatever. There's a Catholic joke in there for some people. Twice.
There's a song in there for people too.
No idea what you're talking about.
I will track it down. Where are the links? I know exactly what song I'm thinking of. I'll deal with it.
Part of it is the founding was done by Puritans. But the other part of it is control. All right? You have almost any religious organization, as well as almost any religion, has to have a way to control people so that the people are doing what they're told. And when you start making things that go against human nature punishable, it becomes easier to control them if they believe in that particular religion that has that thing being a punishable offense. And so if you have people who are so busy being worried and fearful about their nature, they're not seeing what you're doing, what's being done behind their backs. You're able to get them to do just about anything. You're able to get them to murder and kill, invade other countries, steal, maim, sacrifice their own children, rape other men and women. I mean, you name it, it can be done. And when people have that kind of power, regardless of what tool they're using, but religion's a very effective tool for this. When you have people in power, they generally will fight to not give it up. And it's true. And it doesn't matter how they got to power. Well, kind of, sort of. If you have somebody who is truly altruistic, who has gained power, and they recognize that they must give up the power for continue to be, uh, because not doing so would be more harmful than keeping it and doing good with that power. Somebody who's truly altruistic and empathetic of the human condition and their fellow human beings would actually give it up. The thing is we don't have those kinds of people in power. We have the ones who see the quick way to get there, and they don't care who they hurt in the process to do it. And they will use anything, whether that is religion, politics, the law, just charisma, lies, stealing, cheating, whatever it is they have to do. And then once they have a little tiny bit of power, well, now they want more and more and more and more. So that power and that greed go hand in hand. And that's where we're at. We have greedy, spiteful, mean, angry people in power. And if you say something that's out of line, like, well, I don't know, a certain network show host, late night show host who's no longer on the air, another one who was temporarily taken off the air but is now back and will be the next target of the Trump regime, and so on. We have a whole bunch of fascism going on, is what it's called. When you use your power and authority to shut down those who speak ill of you, that's fascism. We have it right now in this country in bucket loads, truckloads, 737 loads, This is what's going on. This is why we're having so many problems in the country. It's not because someone was born and their brain's telling them they're in the wrong gendered body. It's not because somebody is born with a different skin color or was born in a different part of the world or speaks a different language. These are not the issues of our country. But this is what we're told to believe. These are what we're spoon-fed, or not spoon-fed, being shoved down our collective throats and up our collective rear ends without the benefit of Kentucky jelly. Those of you who get that joke, get that joke. Those of you who don't, there'll be explanation later, maybe. Hold your breath. We'll find out. It's nasty. It's really nasty out there. It's very cutthroat. It's very mean. And if you're not willing to stand up, not only for yourself, but for the people around you, you will find that when you need help, the people around you who could have helped you are already gone. There's a whole poem or epic about that. I forget what it's called. Do you remember what it's called, Shujin? First they came for the... Do you remember that one? I can't remember the name of it.
Can't recall what it was called either.
We'll find it. We'll put a link to it in the show notes, but we'll figure it out. But an updated version. Let's do a paraphrased, updated version of it. First, they came for people who were of the LGBTQ plus community, and I didn't do anything because I'm not a member of that community. Then they came for the African American community or Hispanic community, but I didn't do anything about that because I wasn't part of the Hispanic community. Then they came for the African American community, but I didn't do anything because I wasn't a member of that either. Then they came for the registered Democrats, and I needed help, but there was no way to help me. Yeah. Or they came for the independents, and there was nobody left to help me. Or they came for the atheists, and there was nobody left to help me. Or they came for the progressives, or the liberals, or the Jews. Or they came for anybody that they disagree with. And since I didn't help the others around me, there's nobody left to help me either.
I'll be much happy for it to just be instead, first they came for it and I don't care anymore because I shut that shit down.
First they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me. From Pastor Martin Niemöller. I've got the link already in the show notes.
Thank you very much.
As soon as you started saying it, I was, okay, getting it.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. I'd go hunting
I
myself.
You
love
truly
that.
are a good emotional support kitten.
I would have gone looking for it myself, except that my keystrokes will end up all over the microphone, and nobody needs that.
Well, I've been killing my microphone because I'm working on that story that I mentioned a couple of times, and I have to get it out. If I only get like 3 words out in the middle of things, that's fine. If I get 4 or 5 pages out, even better. A story that's been bouncing around in my head since I was 17 is finally going to paper. I did a short story about 10 years ago. This is the story. The short story is part of that. This is... I'm going back.
So, Pride celebrations all over the place. And I think one of the best things that we can make mention about it is that we get to see in real time all the people that shouldn't be left anywhere near our loved ones for any reason. I don't know if anybody's looked on any version of social media to see the way that people in the community who are just like, you know what, I'm not going to read, I'm not going to tell you what some of the comments were, because I will suffice it to say, the comments that I saw from people who were in their 50s and 60s were very much the same kind of thing I would have expected out of somebody who was a middle school boy who just wanted to puff himself up and say all the hateful, ignorant things just because. You know, I would very much love to be able to explain to these people. But it would be an absolute waste of time because they absolutely would not care. So I'm very happy that the people who are being this way have somewhere to hide behind out there on the internet. All of you over there who are on Facebook who are saying all these mean-spirited, nasty things, these the kind of thing I'd expect out of somebody out of a junior high school lunch. Well done. You made an account where everybody can read your profile with all of your information and your name. And you voluntarily put that information out there. Well done. I hope your FO moment is worth it. I'm sorry, was that mean-spirited on my part? It's kind of hard for me to know. If there isn't already, there needs to be a pop rock hit. It's all about FO. I can hope. Anyway, I get to soapboxing too often. That's a problem.
That's what you're here for. You're here to soapbox, and the 3 of us are here to keep you honest. That too. You got Brigid, you got me, you got Tech, you got others that occasionally show up, like Joey, maybe Dalan. Dalan. We want you, Dalan.
Dalan gets tired, man. He's getting to be an old man. That's his problem.
Well, he was also up at 4 a.m. yesterday, and he wasn't able to do our show.
It's true.
So you had to suffer with me.
And Stephanie is giving me, well, amongst other things, giving me a compliment saying that was perfect. I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me into trouble later. I don't even remember what the hell I said. I'm so glad it's recorded.
It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one who says stuff and forgets.
Well, see, the thing of it is, I don't have to remember it because it is how I feel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, chances are, if somebody would have set me up in similar situations, I'll probably just end up saying the same damn thing all over again anyway. Because that's how I feel. People want to be stupid? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Well done. I think that's part of the reason why I don't have to worry about being accused of stealing stuff where I work. I'm not so stupid that I don't remember. A, there's cameras all over the freaking place, even if a lot of the times the resolution on them is... Okay, I'm trying to remember.
Affable?
There's a technical term for it, and I'm trying to remember. Tech, maybe you can remember. The technical term that I'm trying to remember for the resolution on the cameras that we've got, AS?
Megapixel?
Well, AS. I'm pretty sure that's the technical term for it, right?
Oh, from back in the day.
No, currently, AS. I'm pretty sure that's the resolution quality that we're talking about there. I'm just trying to remember if I'm saying the right, pronouncing it correctly.
I think you mean raw. Ass raw.
Could be.
And you too.
And more importantly, I'm many things. I am unsavory in some situations. I am not a thief. I want this to be known. I am not a thief. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to do the whole Nixon thing. I'm not so stupid to think that I can get away with taking things when there are cameras all over the place. Why am I getting to that? Because people, there are cameras all over the place. If you want to go ahead and disturb this is where I'm trying to get to. If you want to try and disturb some of these events as they're happening, you're gonna find out how many cameras there are. And trying to hide yourself ain't gonna work. I'm saying this because I know full well there will be people who are gonna do stupid things and try to disrupt these nice groups of people who are just trying to enjoy themselves because they think they can get away with it. You go ahead. You try that. You try that. You try that. Go ahead. I want to see you try. Go ahead, chicken chits. Go ahead, try. People who literally drowned puppies were found inside of 2 weeks in Europe for posting a single picture. We can find somebody that wants to be an actual asshole.
There's this one YouTuber who keeps on posting, we need to find this person because they've done something wrong. They've hurt somebody. And he posts a picture, he explains what the problem is, and the internet does their sleuthing and they're found, usually within 48 hours.
Yep, the easiest way to find out whether or not something is true or not, and you're pretty sure you're not correct, is make a definitive statement of that incorrect thought on the internet, and you will be set straight.
It's true. very true. Yeah, it's very true. Lexus also commented, besides, why steal from work when you can become a corrupt politician and get away with it by publicly stealing from far more people to the tune of millions? Not endorsing it, just weary commentary. I wanted to get that all out in one breath because I was afraid that if I were to try to inhale in the middle of that, I might uke all over my keyboard, and nobody needs that. Thank you.
Yeah.
She's correct. I mean, that
I did 4 songs for protests. 2 of them are specifically for our corrupt mayor. The town is millions in the hole because of stuff that the mayor has said, let's have it done. Let's do it this way. Let's hide things. Millions, like at least 1/3 of the budget, if not more. And he wanted to be supervisor of the county? No. And the other 2 songs I've done for protests, I actually took the song that I did and cut out the little preamble where I go, "You rang?" Because I want it to be able to go to any protest anywhere and be played against corrupt politicians who like to think that their big sponsors are the ones that are running them, but it's actually the little sponsors that hand that over the little bit of money that they have for hope. Big sponsors, it's just a tax write-off. But the little guy, it might be the difference between them having a meal or not for that day. Here's $5. I'm going to miss a meal, but here's $5.
Brigid, I want to throw something past you because I'm pretty sure that you remember all too well. You remember when the Supreme Court still had a conscience and they went ahead and they had their decision come down saying that marriage is marriage. And then the White House the next night lit up in rainbow.
Yes, I do. And Obama was in office.
I saw a picture not too very long ago, within the last couple of days, commenting on that picture. How wonderful it was to have someone with a conscience and a House of the People reflecting the will of us all.
Yeah.
How beautiful was that?
he still did NASA dirty.
Yeah. He was
upset about that.
He was smart, he was technologically involved. He understood tech, he understood memes, he understood this, he understood that.
He complained about the phone that they gave him because he's like, well, all right, yeah, Mr. President, we'll give you a phone. It doesn't do any kind of data stuff. It doesn't do any texting. It doesn't do any, doesn't run any apps or anything. But you might be able to make phone calls if we're in a spot where you're allowed to.
He was really attached to his BlackBerry.
As somebody who has worked with government-issued devices before, some of the original lockdown devices, he was not far off.
Yeah.
They have come a little bit further in terms of what people don't understand is that when you buy the commercial device, okay, I'm going to try to keep this short. When you buy the commercial device, it's tied into a whole bunch of computers spread out all over the place. Those are called servers, okay? But when the government wants to use them, they can't have these devices being interconnected to all these other commercial systems because it creates security vulnerabilities for the stuff that they want to put on them. And because of that, they have to lock them down. These devices, the commercial devices, are generally not created to be well respectful of being locked down to that level. Okay. And that should be warning flags when we've talked about privacy before. Yeah, go back and watch those when we talk about mobile devices. So when he said it does, it might be able to make a phone call. Yeah, when you kind of lock down the majority of the functionality and that communication stuff, it does. The hardware and software kind of goes.
The reason why I brought that up, by the way, and again, Brigid, I want your opinion on this one, your thoughts, is that when the announcement finally came out, I stayed up overnight, and if I remember correctly, I made breakfast for my son for the next morning to let him know about that decision, because it was a big deal. And we were very much looking forward to finding out about this one. And I made sure that I was there for him so that I could give him the news myself before he'd had an opportunity of seeing anything anywhere.
Dude, that would have been like the perfect opportunity to make rainbow-colored pancakes. Potentially rainbow-colored waffles.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
That's hard to do.
Or at least getting like multiple jellies and jams so that it formed the rainbow.
Talk about pasting the rainbow. I had to, okay? I had to.
Just toss out some
Who else here
Skittles
likes
and be
hot
done with it.
Anybody else thinking hot Skittles?
Taste the rainbow.
I made this for you.
There's a My Little Pony joke in here somewhere that I refuse to make right now.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Nope. No, don't need to be doing that one right now.
Ah,
I'm trying to be nice.
on.
How about I make a reference that isn't the one that I was just thinking of? Y'all remember the last episode, Trixie was used in part of the show?
Nope.
At some point, and I do believe this is canonical, the character of Trixie Lunamoon was supposed to have been implicitly transgendered. So, just more evidence that Equestria is actually Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Where's the ever-free forests?
Out in BC, where they're grow the mighty oaks and pines
Something like
and
that.
evergreens and all sorts of other stuff.
That was a great moment, wasn't it?
I was watching from Canada, and the opinion up there essentially, at least in my household, was about fucking time. When people were asking me what my opinion was about gay marriage and stuff, I quoted Dolly Parton. I'm all for gay marriage. They should suffer like the rest of us. She said that. She said that in a hilarious way.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. I got asked what my sexuality was today, and I said, I'm a lesbian. I'm a woman in comfortable shoes, and I pointed at my slippers. Robin Williams joke.
I don't think I've mentioned my folks too many times on this show. At least not as much as I don't know, as other people tend to mention their family on the internet. But I distinctly remember back in the days of the gay panic, with AIDS and everything else. And Freddie Mercury was still alive at the time, but AIDS was making the news, and homosexual men being the primary infected group and everything. And at the time, I remember I was having a discussion with my dad, and I forget how I asked him the question, but or what the question was that I asked him. But I remember his answer was, I don't know. I think gay people just have something wrong with their heads, and maybe they should focus on that instead. And that was way back when the politics of gay marriage came up. I remember my dad listening to the TV news and making the statement, "Oh, just leave them the hell alone. If they want to be as miserable as I am, let them get married." And I said, "You don't think it's a mental illness?" He goes, "No, I don't. They're just people. Just leave them be. If they want to get married, get married. If the church doesn't want to do it, the state's essentially saying they'll do it for them. And they're not doing any harm to the church. The church is being stupid." And I tell you, my respect for the man grew more that day, because he proved that you can get into your later years and still have a change of opinion, still grow as a human being. The old phrase, "an old dog can't learn new tricks," doesn't apply to him. So if it doesn't apply to him, that means others can have it applied to them too. And for the ones who refuse, I got a rubber hose in the backyard. I could help you move you along, folks. I'm just saying, I'll volunteer to assist.
When I was growing up, I grew up as a Baha'i child. And about 14, 15, 16, they started teaching us sexuality and what Baha'i children, Baha'i young adults should be doing for sex and marriage and whatnot. And the question about gays came up, which is completely different than the answer now from the Baha'i faith. Back then, it was considered a mental illness because that's what their prophet wrote. Now, their doctrine is that science has proven that it's not. About 5 years ago, I did a search about that. And I read that and just went, you hypocritical assholes. Then I remembered they had something in the doctrine that said that if it could be proven by science, because science and religion should mesh, then science was true. And the doctrine should switch to this scientific explanation. And I just... You told me one thing as a teenager. No wonder I left.
We gotta see about getting done. The last thing, partly, I'm also having a real hard time with one of my contact lenses not sitting correctly, but I don't want to be futzing around with it right now. I don't want us to end on a downer note. I want to lead the ending on this. We have not been perfect in how we deal with anyone other. But you know what? You know what it is that we've got above so many others? We're willing to learn and to listen before we react. You want yourself some good people to be around? Look for people like that. We tend to be. What you got left? Tech? Anything short and left?
Well, that's oddly specific. Get off my computer. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, you know, I agree with what you said earlier. I'm sad that we have pride parades, not because people are happy, but because people were so repressed, and even to the point of where their lives were ended, just because of who they decided to love in their lives or enjoy some intimacy with, that we need to bring it to the public's attention that these things happened. I wish those things never had happened. I wish we could just get along where, okay, fine, you're an adult, you want to get married? Fine. That church doesn't want to do it? Fine. There, you've got your state official, go get it done, go move on with your life and have a wonderful life. And nobody else gives a damn. You know? Nobody else tries to tell them what they're doing is wrong. Nobody else tries to say you're going to hell. Nobody else tries to say you can't do that because you're going to pervert my little Susie or Timmy. And nobody points a gun at him, shoots, or bombs, firebombs the house, or sets a club on fire, or any of those horrible things that have happened. But I am glad that we are at a point where we can have the Pride Parade to bring these things to light, and that the people are willing to do it. If that makes any sense at all to anybody who's listening to this at any point in the future.
Brigid, how about you? Any last items that you got?
Oh, and before Bridget, I just want to say, I'm saying that as a cisgendered white male. I'm happy there's pride parades. Suck on that, conservatives.
I'm just going to add that the nuclear family, whatever declarations or whatever you want to call it, proclamations, Tennessee did that too. And y'all just need to quit. It's bullshit. We know that you don't like people who are gay or trans or non-binary or whatever, but get over it. These people exist. Suck it up. Stop the hate.
And Io, any last on you?
Tech's probably going to jump all over me for saying this, but I'm very, very thankful for certain AI tools because of accessibility. Why am I saying this? Because there's also pride in, I guess, living and showing that your disability isn't stopping you. That's not quite what I'm thinking of. The chronically illness was there. I love her. She had a bunch of stuff. And I'm looking at all these accessibility devices, accessibility programs, and AI, depending on what you use, can be that. I never learned how to read music, or rather, any ability that I might have had to read music went away when I got a head injury. And I've heard music in my ears and around me since I was a small child. I'm now writing a story, and one of the things that's come out is about 20 songs, some of them instrumentals. And if it wasn't for my AI and the music program that I've been using, none of that would have been able to come forward. I would not be able to go, yes, that song belongs there in that story. So there's different types of pride. There's sexual pride. There's romantic pride. There's this. I'm proud that I found something that's bringing part of me that's been forcibly suppressed my entire life. And it's coming out. And maybe, just maybe, somebody out there will say, hey, you should read this book. And it'll be mine.
So, last but not least, before we leave out, for those of you that joined us, made it to the end, of course, thank you. If you're a first timer, because the hashtags caught you, thank you for joining us. We will be here. We will be here. And you've got a place if you need it. Our door is open. So to that end, let's go ahead and call it a night. Thank you for being with us. If you found something worthwhile in all of our perspectives, you got something to think about for the week ahead, we've done our jobs. Just thank you. Over in the chat, of course, as always, thank you guys. Lexa, Stephanie, appreciate you guys. You take care of yourselves, eh? And thanks for being patient with me. Really appreciate that part. Io, glad you're able to make it. You have hopefully an okay week ahead, what with the setting up and everything. And thank you. You take care of yourself, huh?
My exhibit's set up. The stages are being set up by the moles, as well as the greeting area and all that. I've done my training. I've gotten through. I just have to get my uniform, blah, 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 blah. It's more what's going to happen in just over a week. I'm going to have a hard day ahead of me. But I know you guys are going to make sure that I get through it or else.
You'll make it. Brigid, it is time to say goodnight. I'm sure there is no lack of choices for yourself, but being that we've only got maybe one or two Fs still left, what you got left?
I'm going to give a big fuck you to Pete Hickseth again for his forcing the DoD to drop all of the various religions from their list. And so now there are only, like 23 or 21, I can't remember off the top of my head, religions recognized in the military now. And the list was like 180. So just go fuck yourself and fuck off with all that. Get fucked.
Can we also make a sideline to pretty much all the senators and Congress critters who have not broken ranks on the extreme right and reined this SOB in? Because after all, aren't they supposed to be the ones that are supposed to pay for stuff?
You would think.
I wouldn't have to.
But then just let him do whatever he wants.
I've read the Constitution. I know who's supposed to be doing that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Am I a little too educated there? You take care of yourself too, huh? I worry about you sometimes.
I worry about me too.
Well, I'm in good company then.
Yeah.
Tech, again, glad you're able to make it. You take care of yourself. You have a good, safe week ahead, huh?
You guys too, all of you. And if you hear anybody talking about how Pride Month, this month should be Veterans Month, Veteran Month, just remind them, is in November, which they would know if they actually gave a damn.
Yep, I've seen that. I've seen that one happening too. So yeah, we appreciate y'all being with us. And however it is that you celebrate Pride, please just be safe. That's all we ask. There are, of course, so many different things that I want to make mention to, but it's not really that necessary right now. If you'd like to be in touch with us, of course, social media is probably one of the easiest ways. You can find us over on BlueSky. Facebook is still a holdover. Yes, it's still there. It's just, there's almost no interaction other than just, hey, show's going on. Cool. That's all you really need. And of course, the invite for you to bring you over to the Discord server is also there. More than happy for you to drop in and say hi. Other than that, if you need to be outside for an extended period of time, please be safe. Drink water. Very heavily water. Just be careful of everybody else out there. We will be seeing you hopefully as early as next week. I expect is how it should be going. I'm trying. So thank you for being patient with me. So until the next time we're together, as always, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And, of course, as always, for my lady, it's now passed into 21 years since we've lost her. Yeah, I'm still in love. Matane Fujin, I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we're together, everyone. As always, good night.